Once upon a time, in the big and bustling city of Lagos, there lived a happy and peaceful couple named Ekene and Ngozi. Ekene was a mechanic who worked in a big automobile company, while Ngozi was a nurse in a prominent hospital. Before Ekene and Ngozi got married, they had been practicing in their profession for years before they even met, and they were both financially stable. About a year after the two lovebirds started dating, they got married, and a few weeks after that, Ngozi got pregnant. After Ngozi gave birth to their daughter, Ada, she had to remain at home for some months so to look after and care for her newborn. During the months Ngozi stayed at home, it was easy to look after her baby. But once she resumed work, things became very difficult. Thankfully, with the help of family members and some friends, Ngozi was able to juggle work and caring for her baby without feeling burnt out. As the years passed, Ngozi's daughter Ada grew to the age where she did not constantly need her mother's attention. This was a big relief for Ngozi because she had more time for herself and could focus on work. Unfortunately, just when Ngozi was glad she had a bit of freedom, she realized that she was pregnant again. Even though being pregnant was good news for the family, Ngozi was not really glad because she knew how stressful it was to care for a new baby. Eventually, after 9 months, Ngozi gave birth to Eze, her son, and as she had predicted, she had to pause work and remain at home to care for her baby. But this time around, caring for her son was not as easy as she expected because she also had to look after her daughter, and this really took its mental toll on her. This was coupled with the fact that she didn't have support from friends and family like she did when she gave birth to her daughter. 7 months after Eze was born, Ngozi complained bitterly to her husband about how stressed and exhausted she was and how she was gradually breaking down. "My husband, I don't think I can handle this anymore. I'm so tired and exhausted, and my body is breaking down. Can you imagine that the other day I slept off while breastfeeding Eze? I was so tired that I didn't even remember I was still holding him," Ngozi said. Sorry, my love. It's just a matter of time. Very soon, it will all be over," Ekene said. "No, babe. I don't think you understand me. If I continue like this, I might break down. It's not easy to be the only one caring for 2 children, cooking for you, cleaning this house, and still doing the laundry," Ngozi said in a frustrated tone. But I help you whenever I can. I know it's not that easy, but I'm also trying my best. Both of us cannot stop working to look after the children. If we do that, what will they eat?" Ekene said. "No, my husband, you don't understand me. I never said you should stop working or anything. That's not what I meant," Ngozi said. "You are really misunderstanding me," she added. "Okay, make me understand you," Ekene said. "All I'm trying to say is that I need help. I can no longer handle everything alone. You know, I just resumed work, and it's even worse when I'm being a mother and a nurse at the same time," Ngozi said. "Why don't you call your sister Ifeoma to come and assist you? She can stay with us for a while and attend school from here," Ekene suggested. "You know very well that Ifeoma will not agree to come and stay here. The longest she can stay is just for a week. Have you already forgotten what happened last time? She complained that Ada's constant crying was not letting her read, and she couldn't do well at school because she was always tired," Ngozi said. "So, what do we do now? Do we hire a nanny?" Ekene asked. "No, not a nanny. I also want someone who can help with the house chores. A nanny cannot do that. She will only look after the children," Ngozi said. Wait, you want us to hire a maid? Ekene asked. Yes, honey, please. I really need a maid in this house. If not, I might die from stress, Ngozi said. Ngozi, I understand what you mean, but you know that I don't like maids. I don't even like the idea of someone's child being treated as a slave. Aside from that, even if I agree for us to hire a maid, where will we find a good one? The world is no longer what it used to be, Ekene said. Babe, I know. Finding a good maid will not be easy, but if you just say yes, I will make sure that I find someone you will like, Ngozi said. I don't like the idea of having a maid. Our daughter is still very young and we are still nursing a baby. I don't think this is the right time to hire a maid. If they were both older, maybe I would have agreed, Ekene said. Ekene, do you want me to die in this house before you agree? You go to work every morning and by the time you return in the evening, your food is ready, Ngozi yelled. I wake up every morning by 5 a.m. to prepare breakfast for you and food for Ada to take to school. Sometimes I don't even get up to 4 hours of sleep because of Eze, Ngozi added. Ngozi, calm down. You are blowing this discussion out of proportion. I see everything you do and I really appreciate them, Ekene said. Ekene, I do not need your appreciation. I need help. That is what I want. Even if you appreciate me until tomorrow, it doesn't change the fact that I'm drowning, Ngozi said in a teary voice. Okay, I have heard you. I will think about what you have said. Also, in the meantime, I will try as much as possible to help with the house chores, Ekene said. If that's the case, you will make breakfast tomorrow. Good night, Ngozi said angrily. There's no problem. I will do it if it will make you happy. Ekene said with a broad smile. The following morning, Ekene was still snoring loudly around 5 a.m. when Ngozi tapped his shoulder softly. What is it? Ekene asked in a sleepy voice. Ekene, wake up. It's 5 a.m. already, Ngozi said. What's happening? Ekene asked. You are supposed to make breakfast this morning. You need to wake up now so you can meet up, Ngozi said. Wake up by this time to make breakfast? When did I even sleep? Ekene said. You have slept for more than 6 hours, Ngozi said. I still need to sleep. Please call me by 6 a.m., Ekene said. Ekene, wake up! Ngozi said as she tapped him loudly this time. What is all this now? Can't I sleep again? Don't worry, we will eat noodles, Ekene said. When I wake up, I will make noodles for myself and Ada, he added. So what will she take to school? Ngozi asked. That one is not a problem. I will buy something from a fast food for her. Please, just let me sleep, Ekene said in a sleepy voice. I knew it! Anyways, you will eat noodles today, Ngozi said before going back to bed. Later that morning, Ekene woke up around 7 a.m., which was his usual wake-up time, and he went straight to the kitchen to make noodles. Sadly, after making the noodles, he and Ada couldn't even eat it because it tasted horrible. As a result, Ngozi had to fix a quick breakfast for the two of them. In the days that followed, Ngozi intentionally refused to do some of her regular chores because she wanted Ekene to make up his mind about hiring a maid. Babe, I can't find my blue shirt. The one with the white collar, Ekene said. That morning, Ekene had spent minutes searching the wardrobe for that shirt, and when he couldn't find it, he was forced to ask Ngozi. "Are you sure it isn't there?" Ngozi feigned ignorance. "Yes, I have searched thoroughly, but I can't find it," Ekene said. "Oh, I remember! If you can't find it in the wardrobe, then it must be in the dirty laundry basket," Ngozi said. Dirty laundry basket?" Ekene asked. "Yes, I'm sure you will find it there. There's no other place it could be," Ngozi said. But Ngozi, you know that I do not like leaving my work shirts dirty. Any small stain can stick to the fabric, and you also know that shirt is very expensive," Ekene said angrily. "Ekene, how many places do you want me to divide myself into?" Ngozi asked. "You know how hard it is to take care of Eze. If I manage to go to the market and cook, it's by the grace of God. I close work by 5, and before I return home, it's already late. During weekends, I have to wash the children's clothes first because it's a priority. I haven't even washed my clothes in weeks," Ngozi said. "So what do I do now? You know that we dress according to the dress code of the day at work," Ekene said. "Maybe you will wear the general t-shirt for today. You can cook up a lie for them. I'm sure they will believe you. But you also know that you will need to wash your clothes when you return from work today, or else you won't have what to wear for the rest of the week," Ngozi said. Immediately Ekene heard that, he sighed angrily and walked out on Ngozi. Without showing any remorse, Ngozi continued to feed Eze, whom she had carefully placed on her thighs. Aside from intentionally refusing to wash Ekene's clothes, Ngozi also did other things to piss off Ekene. For example, Ngozi knew that Ekene enjoyed eating pounded yam with his favorite soup every Sunday, and he had never missed one Sunday. To get on his nerves, Ngozi intentionally made jollof rice on Sunday and she served him. Ngozi, what is this?" Ekene asked after he opened his plate to see that Ngozi had not made pounded yam. "Oh, my husband, I'm very sorry. I didn't have the energy to pound yam, so I decided to prepare rice instead." "Don't worry, I made it just the way you love it," Ngozi said. But Ngozi, you know that pounded yam and soup are the only things I eat on Sunday. Why didn't you tell me you didn't have the energy to pound the yam? If you had, I would have assisted you," Ekene said. My husband, no nah. You have never pounded yam for me before. Why would I start bothering you now?" Ngozi said. "Honestly, Ngozi, if I tell you that I'm happy, then I'm lying. I am not pleased at all," Ekene said. "Sorry, my husband. I had to manage my energy. You know there are still other things I need to do. Since I do not have anyone helping me with the chores, I just have to do the little I can," Ngozi explained. "Ngozi, I have had enough. The other week, it was my shirt, and for a while now, you have denied me my right. Now you are changing the food timetable. How much more do I have to endure?" Ekene said in a frustrated tone. "I'm sorry, my husband, but I can't say. Whatever changes you see, you will have to adapt to them. It's already hard work being a mother of 2 and your wife," Ngozi said. "If you don't mind, I have to go and feed the children now," Ngozi added before disappearing to the room. That day, after Ekene was forced to eat jollof rice instead of his usual, he decided to finally let Ngozi hire a maid. "My baby, I have been thinking and finally decided that you can hire a maid. I have seen what the workload in this house is doing to you, and I do not like it," Ekene said to Ngozi that same night while they were in their bedroom. "Really? Thank you so much, my husband. You don't know how relieved I am to hear that. I have waited so long to finally hear you say this," Ngozi said. "The only thing is that we have a problem," Ekene said. "What's the problem, darling?" Ngozi asked. "Where will we find a good girl to help you look after the kids and do the chores?" Ekene asked. My husband, don't you trust me? I will call my aunt in the village and tell her to help me find a good girl. That one is not a problem at all. Ngozi bragged. Your auntie from the village. Why don't we find agencies that handle things like that here? Ekene said. No, I don't trust all those Lagos agencies. Also, you know that the girls in this state are big girls. Before you know it, they will start seducing you so that they can kick me out of my house. Ngozi laughed. You know that's not possible. But I get your point. If you think your aunt will help you find a good girl from your village, then I am fine with that, Ekene said. Thank you so much, my husband. I love you to the moon and back, Ngozi said as she hugged Ekene. 2 days after Ekene agreed for Ngozi to hire a maid, Ngozi called her auntie to help her find a good girl that would live with them. Luckily for her, just a week and some days after she called her auntie called to notify her that she had found someone. Ngozi, I have found the perfect girl for you. She is just 14 years old but has the strength of an adult. She can cook, clean, and do everything. Ngozi's auntie said. Auntie, isn't 14 years old too young? Ngozi said. I don't think my husband will be comfortable with us hiring a 14-year-old as our maid, Ngozi added. Don't worry. She will be 15 years old in a few months. And once you see her size, you will know that she isn't that small, Ngozi's auntie said. Auntie, I don't know. I was looking for someone that was more mature. Even though she's going to be 15 soon, she's still a child, Ngozi said. What is even wrong with this girl? Do you want big girls that will come and snatch your husband away from you? I'm telling you, she's just the perfect person for you. And you're saying something else when you haven't even seen her, Ngozi's auntie said angrily. Okay, auntie, I have heard. What of her family? Have they agreed? Ngozi asked. My dear, she's an orphan. Her mother just died last year. But I spoke to her aunt and she has agreed, Ngozi's auntie said. Oh, that's sad. What about her education? Is she educated? Ngozi asked. She stopped at primary school. I think she was about to start secondary school when her father died, Ngozi's auntie said. Okay, that's fine. We will send her to school. I just hope she's as good as you say, Ngozi said. Trust me, Ngozi. She is. You will really enjoy her. She's a very hardworking girl, Ngozi's auntie said. Okay, auntie. I trust you. So, what now? Do I come to the village and see her? Or will you bring her to the city? She can come with her clothes. I'm sure I will like her, Ngozi said. Alright then. I will come with her tomorrow. My regards to your husband, Ngozi's auntie said before ending the call. The following day around noon, Ngozi's auntie arrived at Ngozi's house with the housemaid, Ego. Good afternoon, ma. Ego greeted Ngozi respectfully as soon as she entered the house. Good afternoon. Welcome to my house, Ngozi said with a broad smile. My daughter, this is the girl I was telling you about. Her name is Ego. Ngozi's auntie introduced Ego. Auntie, are you sure she's 14 years old? She's almost taller than me, Ngozi said. I told you, didn't I? I told you there was nothing to worry about. She's what we call small but mighty. Young but big in size, Ngozi's auntie said. So, Ego, tell me about yourself. Ngozi turned to Ego. Sadly, Ego did not understand what she meant. Is it not you she is talking to? Ngozi's auntie yelled at Ego. Auntie, don't worry. Maybe she didn't understand me. She will get comfortable with me, Ngozi said. Ego, what and what can you do? Can you sweep and clean? Ngozi asked her again. Yes, auntie. I can do anything. I can cook, sweep, clean and wash. In fact, there is nothing I cannot do, Ego said. Are you sure? Because you look like an ajebota to me, oh, eh? Ngozi teased Ego. No, auntie. I no be ajebota. I be better kpako pikin. Even if you want to take me to farm with you, I can do that. Ego bragged. Okay, Ego. I have heard you. You didn't come here to farm. There is no farm here, eh? Ngozi laughed. All I need is for you to help me take care of my children and do some chores in the house. Ngozi added. Okay, auntie. I can do that one too. I am very good with children, Ego said. Thank you very much, auntie. Ngozi turned to her auntie. I don't know what I would have done without you. Bringing Ego here is such a relief for me, Ngozi said. You are welcome, my dear. So, let's discuss her monthly salary. How much do you want to pay as her salary? Ngozi's auntie asked. I didn't even think about that. What about 25k a month? Ngozi asked. Okay, that's fine. Since you will be feeding and clothing her, Ngozi's auntie said. But you will have to send the money to me every month end, so I can give it to her auntie, Ngozi's auntie said. There's no problem, ma. I will do as you have said, Ngozi said. That afternoon, after Ngozi's auntie returned to the village, Ngozi took Ego to her room and showed her around the house. By this time, Eze, who was asleep when Ego arrived, had woken up. This is my son, Eze. You can hold him, Ngozi said as she stretched the baby to Ego. But something unexpected happened. Suddenly, Eze, who was very calm and quiet, began to scream and struggle for freedom as soon as Ego touched him. That's strange. He doesn't reject people. Anyways, he might be acting that way because he's just seeing your face for the first time, Ngozi said as she carried Eze. Do you know how to make rice? Ngozi asked. What kind of rice, auntie? Ego asked. White rice. There is stew in the freezer, so I want you to make white rice so we can have that for lunch, Ngozi said. Auntie, that one is a small thing now. I can even cook all kinds of soup, Ego said. Don't worry, you will have an opportunity to show me that, Ngozi said. Later that evening, when Ekene returned from work, Ngozi introduced Ego to him. You are welcome to our house. I hope you are a good girl and will not give us a reason to regret hiring you, Ekene said to Ego. No, sir. I promise you that you will have no regrets, Ego said. That evening, when Ekene first saw Ego, a part of him was uncomfortable around her. It was almost like there was something about Ego that he could not place his fingers on. But since he didn't want to complain at all, he remained quiet. Shortly after Ekene went to bed that night, he had a bad dream. In that dream, he saw Ego and a group of creepy children playing in his living room. Amongst the children, it looked like Ego was their leader, but when he woke up the following morning, he didn't think much about it. Just like Ego had bragged, she was truly hardworking, and she proved that in the weeks that followed. Every morning, Ego would wake up at 5 a.m. and prepare breakfast for everyone. On the days Ekene and Ngozi went to work, Ego would clean up the whole house, do all the laundry, and still cook. She would also look after Eze and even go to the market on the days Ngozi instructed her to. With Ego's help, Ngozi's workload and responsibility reduced. She no longer yelled at her husband, and she had time to do some things for herself. Precisely 5 months after Ego moved in with Ngozi and Ekene, something happened. One weekend, Ekene was in the house resting when he suddenly heard Eze scream and cry. Upon rushing to the scene, Ekene saw that Ego was lying down beside Eze and she didn't even bother to pacify him. Ego, get up! What is the meaning of what you are doing? Ekene tapped Ego angrily. Didn't you hear that Eze was crying? He added. Immediately Ekene tapped Ego. She opened her eyes and sat on the bed. When she saw that it was Ekene who woke her up, She sighed loudly and tried to pacify Eze, but Eze wouldn't stop crying. Ego, did you just look at me and sigh? Ekene slapped Ego in anger, but instead of responding, Ego held her left cheek and screamed. Angered by how Ego reacted, Ekene picked up Eze and walked out of Ego's room. That day, as soon as Ngozi returned from the market, Ekene reported Ego to her. But babe, you shouldn't have slapped her. Maybe she was just sighing from stress. Ngozi tried to defend Ego. I don't care what it was. I am the head of this family and she had no right to sigh. I can tolerate anything, but not disrespect. If she feels respecting me in my own house will be a problem, she should prepare to leave because I will not condone such, Ekene said. Babe, I'm sorry. I will talk to her and ensure it never happens again, Ngozi said. You better talk to her, Ekene growled. While with Ego cooking that evening, Ngozi talked to Ego about what had happened, but Ego claimed that she didn't mean to disrespect Ekene. Ego explained that she had been trying to pacify Eze, but she mistakenly fell asleep, and that was when Ekene walked in to wake her. So out of frustration, she sighed. It's okay. I thought as much. I know how difficult taking care of Eze can be sometimes. Just make sure it doesn't happen again, eh? I'm also sorry that my husband slapped you. He misunderstood you, Ngozi said. It's fine, Ma. I am no longer angry. What has been done, Ego said. Sadly, Ngozi did not understand what Ego meant by that. She just believed that Ego was just being poetic. No one knew, but Ego was a black witch and she had been initiated into witchcraft right from when she was a baby. When Ego told Ngozi she wasn't angry anymore, she wasn't lying. Ego wasn't angry at Ekene anymore because she had already dealt with Ekene spiritually and she was only waiting for the physical manifestation of what she had done. 3 days after Ekene slapped Ego, he returned from work with a long face. From the way he acted, Ngozi could tell that something was wrong. Babe, what is it? Is everything alright? Ngozi asked. No, everything is not alright. I lost my job, Ekene said. You lost your job? How did that happen? Ngozi asked in shock. My dear, I wish I could explain, but I can't. I'm as shocked as you are, Ekene said. But you can't just lose your job. You have worked with that company for over 7 years. What did they say was their reason for firing you? Ngozi asked. They didn't give me a reason. I just received a letter from HR this morning saying they no longer needed my services, Ekene explained. Just like that? Ngozi asked. Yes, just like that, Ekene said. This is really bad. Why now? So what will you do now? Ngozi said. Is to find another job now. You already know, Ekene said in an angry tone. It's okay, baby. I assure you that we will sort this out together. Maybe God is trying to give you a job at a bigger and better place, Ngozi said. I hope so. I really do, Ekene said. That evening, because Ekene was very sad and a bit depressed, he drank a lot of alcohol until he eventually fell asleep. A few hours after he slept, Ekene had a bad dream. In that dream, he saw Ego with a group of children in his living room playing with his file and credentials. The weird part about his dream was that all the children stood in a single line and they all took turns to stand on his credentials. Then they squeezed them into paper balls and threw them at one another. When Ekene woke up the next morning, he told Ngozi his dream, but Ngozi did not take him seriously because he had drank too much alcohol the previous night. In the days that followed, things began to go bad in Ekene's house. In addition to Ekene losing his job, their daughter Ada fell very sick that she had to take a break from school. On the other hand, Eze, who was now more than a year old, began to wake up and cry every night. Once it was 3 a.m., Eze would wake up and cry so loudly, and no matter what Ngozi or Ego did to pacify him, he wouldn't stop crying until the cock crowed. When all this started, Ngozi didn't read any meaning to them. She believed that the tough time wouldn't last. But when 5 months passed and Ekene could not find a job and Ada had not recovered despite visiting several hospitals, she decided to call her friend Chika, who lived in another state. "My friend, I'm tired. I don't know what to do anymore." Ngozi broke into tears.
"Ah, Ngozi, are things that bad?"
Chika asked.
"Yes, Chika. It is really bad. I don't know what to do again. Ekene has become a shadow of himself. He is gradually turning into a drunk. If I tell you that my husband has passed more than 20 interviews, yet the companies always find an excuse not to hire him, will you believe me?"
Ngozi said in a teary voice.
"Ah, that is serious,"
Chika said.
"Yes, it is that serious. I don't even want to get started with Ada. I don't know what to do again. We have done tests for everything, but the doctors have not found anything up till today."
Ngozi said.
"My friend, I need help, oh. I don't know what to do again."
Ngozi added.
"You know what? I will be in Lagos tomorrow. No matter how difficult things are, there's nothing God cannot solve."
Chika said.
"That's why I called you, my friend. My faith is very low right now. I have prayed, but nothing is working. Please include me in your prayers."
Ngozi said.
"I will. Be expecting me tomorrow,"
Chika said before hanging up. The next day, Chika arrived at Ngozi's house in the morning, and immediately she entered the house. She sensed something. "My friend, why is your house so heavy?" Chika asked.
"Heavy? How?"
Ngozi asked in a confused tone. Now I know why things have been bad. Your house has been engulfed by the spirit of darkness," Chika said.
"Leave that one for now. We will talk about it later. What do I offer you now?"
Ngozi asked.
"Anything is fine,"
Chika answered. "Okay, let me call my maid to bring you a bottle of Coke," Ngozi said.
"Ego! Ego! Bring one bottle of Coke for my visitor,"
Ngozi said at the top of her voice. Before Chika could ask Ngozi about Ego, Ego walked into the living room with a bottle of Coke and an empty glass. But as soon as Ego and Chika's eyes met, something happened. Without any reason, Ego dropped the bottle and glass and began to scream.
"Ah!
Ego, what is it?
Why are you screaming?"
Ngozi panicked.
"Ah! Auntie! Your friend is on fire! Her fire is blinding me! Ah! Ah!"
Ego screamed. "I don't understand. Chika is not on fire. What do you mean?" Ngozi asked. "Chika, do you know what she's talking about?" Ngozi added. Your housemaid is an agent of darkness. To be precise, she is a witch, and she is responsible for everything you and your family have passed through," Chika said.
"What?
Ego, is that true?" Ngozi asked in shock. By this time, Ego had fallen to the floor and she was screaming while struggling to cover her eyes.
"You better confess. If not, you will not like what will happen to you,"
Chika said.
"Ah! Yes, Auntie! Yes, oh! It's true! Ah! I am a witch! And I am the reason your husband lost his job and his new alcohol addiction! Ah!"
Ego admitted
What? How?
Ngozi asked.
I am the oldest child in my coven, and as its leader, no one touches me. The day Oga slapped me, I was very angry, and I decided to teach him a lesson.
Ego said.
I also poisoned Ada spiritually to punish you and Oga. I have been feeding her in the dream world, and it's poisoning her physically.
Ego said.
Oh my God. I am finished. What did I bring into my house?
Ngozi began to cry.
That's not all. Every night, I order the children in my coven to take turns and beat Eze. That's why he cries from 3 a.m. to 5 a.m. every morning.
Ego added.
So you can be this wicked and evil.
Ngozi said in a teary voice.
You must undo everything you did.
Ngozi added.
Your friend's presence is already spoiling everything. She is also working with some invisible people you and her cannot see.
Ego said.
Now, Ego, before I close my eyes and open it, I want you to leave my house now. I don't care how you will get back to the village, but I don't ever want to see you close to my house or family again.
Ngozi yelled, and Ego ran out of the house. She did not even bother to pack her belongings. A day after Ego left, Ngozi packed all of Ego's property and burnt everything. At first, she wanted to send them back to the village, but when she remembered how Ego had been cruel to her and her family, she burnt them. Luckily for Ngozi, her friend Chika was a powerful prayer warrior. She prayed and fasted in Ngozi's house for 7 days and 7 nights to destroy everything Ego had done. To confirm that Ego was really the reason behind everything, 2 days into Chika's fasting and prayer, Ekene got a call from 3 different companies begging him to resume work. In fact, when it happened, Ekene was so confused about which company to choose. As for Ada and Eze, they both recovered the same day Ego got kicked out of the house. Thanks to Chika, Ngozi's friend, everything was restored to order. As for Ngozi, she never hired another maid after that incident. The end. Did you enjoy this story? Tell us your favorite part in the comment section below. Please like, share and subscribe to our channel. Also, do not forget to follow our channel on Facebook and Instagram. Thank you.